Attention, duelist. Frank's here. Master Duel Monday. Watch and learn. Had to reset a bunch of OBS information, so hopefully this is actually working and I don't have to redo this later. But let's get right into it. Duel Live. Hope y'all are doing A-okay. Me? I'm a little sunburnt. Duelist B going first. Duelist A. Plenty of interaction. Duelist B activating Valmonica. Field spell. Ash Blossom in response. Cross out Designator, preventing the Ash Blossom. Field spell resolves. Adds Celatrice. Summon Celatrice. Celatrice on summon. Adding Valmonica Invitaire to hand. Activate Invitaire. Duelist A firing off Max C in response. Both resolve. Invitaire adding Angelo. And then putting into the extra deck face up, Daimono. Then activates Valmonica Celta. Putting a card on top, drawing 2, sets 2, passes, not feeding the Max C. Duelist A activates 1 for 1, pitching Nibiru, bringing out Snake Eye Ash. Ash's on summon will be stopped by Infinite Impermanence. Except Fire King Avatar Kirin will chain, popping the Ash before it can be targeted, summoning itself, Imperma whiffs, and Ash adds Poplar. Poplar effect to summon itself. It is summoned, adds Sinful Spoil Snake Eyes. Links itself away for Linkuriboh. It went to Graveyard, targets itself, put itself in the back row. Sinful Spoil is activated, sending Poplar away to bring out Fire King Ponix. Ponix add Fire King Sanctuary, which is then activated. In response, Valmonica followed Rhythm will activate, destroying the Fire King Sanctuary, preventing it from resolving. Then Linkuriboh, Ponix, and the Fire King Avatar Kirin all link together for Promethean Princess. Princess effect, summon back the Ash, which will then send itself and Princess away to summon Flamberge. Flamberge on summon, not on summon, just targeting Celatrice, moving her to the back row, specifically into a Pendulum Zone to prevent Pendulum Summoning, which I've seen a lot of stuff lately about people talking about Pendulums really getting shafted, not having a lot they can do when stuff like this comes up, and how the Pendulum Zone should have stayed its own thing. And this is definitely a high argument for it, because as far as I can tell, Flamberge just turned off their deck. Punches face for some damage, pass turn. Replaces the Valmonica field spell with a new one, adding a new Celatrice. Summons her. She will add Valmonica Celta. Activates it. Puts a card on top or bottom. Or puts cards back, draws 2. Links itself away for Artemis the Magistus Moon Maiden. Opponent uses their Promethean Princess, popping Flamberge and Artemis, summon Promethean Princess back. Flamberge went to grave, brings back Ash and Ponix. Both of their on summons will activate, adding a Fire King card and a Snake Eye. Gets Fire King Island. And a Snake Eye Oak. Duelist B using triple tack talent to draw 2. Sets 1 and passes. Promethean Princess starts to use her effect. Max C will chain. Fire King Skyburn will activate, targeting Ponix on the opponent's set card, which will activate as Exosister Vadis. Vadis summoning Martha and Ellis. Cards are then destroyed. Max C resolves. Princess then brings back Flamberge. Martha effect and Ellis effect. Ellis becoming Michaelis. Martha becoming Gibrin. Promethean Princess and Flamberge then link together. Make Amphibious Amphibowhale. Flamberge effect from grave, summon back Ponix and Poplar. Amphibowhale then used as solo material for Zelantis. Uses its effect. Effect Veiler off of Dual Speed Chaining to stop that nonsense. Then 5 monsters, including Dual Speed's Michaelis, are used to make Underworld Goddess of Closed World. Underworld Goddess effect, negating things, Poplar effect, target Ash. Gibrinal Chain, targeting the Underworld Goddess. Poplar, setting the Ash, Goddess negated, Fire King Island activated. Destroying the Fire Avatar in hand, adding Sacred Fire King Garunix. Arvata was destroyed, will activate, targeting Fire King. Garunix will also chain. Summon itself. And Arvata brings back the Kirin. Garunix will then chain. Will not chain, start its own effect, but dual speed with Nibiru. Tribute all monsters. Big Rock. Big Token. Garunix will then destroy another card, which was Avatar Kirin. Avatar Kirin brings back Garunix, destroy Nibiru. Player summons Oak, targeting Poplar. Another Veiler, targeting the Oak. Snake Eye card in grave, banish itself, target Flamberge, draws 1, put Flamberge back. Poplar was got in the hand, summons itself, it and the token, link together, because Snake Eye has no choke point. Make a Nightmare Phoenix. Move to battle. Swing with Oak, Phoenix, and Garunix. Link Kariba will tribute Oak, summon itself, still during combat, and that's the final swing for game. More than a little nasty. Anyway, Snake Eye needs hit on the ban list hard. Yeah, that's a little gross. Duelist A firing off D-Shifter immediately. Opponent summons Inspector Border, puts Power of the Guardian on it and Moon Mirror Shield. Activates Time Tearing Morganite and passes. Well, that puts a damper on the play, doesn't it? Duelist A activates Pot of Prosby. Gets evenly matched, because that's really what they need. Goes to battle, ends battle, activate evenly matched, sends away the equipped cards, which are banished, activates Exosister Pax in main 2, getting Vadis. Sets 3 and passes. Time Tearing Morganite says draw 2. Activates Pot of Extra. Draws 2, summons Fossil Dining Pachycephalo, another Moon Mirror Shield. How did you... Morganite give... 2 normal summons, that's right. So they summon Barrier Statue of Drought also. Swing with Border, Drought, and Pachycephalo. This is disgusting. Duelist A, full pass. They're cooked. Player summons Jowgen, tributes it for D-Shifter, puts Power of the Guardian on D-Shifter. Swing Pachycephalo, and Border for game. No, Yu-Gi-Oh! Doesn't have a floodgate problem. What would make you say that? Bestial. Opponent summons Rescue Ace Hydrant, Ash Blossom in response. Called by in response to the Ash. So, Hydrant will resolve. Gets Rescue Ace HQ, activates it, summons Airlifter, which will add Emergency. Activate Emergency. Summon out Turbulence. Getting rid of Airlifter. Turbulence effect, setting 4. Extinguish. Contain. Emergency. And Rescue. Preventer in hand, banishing Airlifter, summon itself. Preventer and Turbulence link together. Make IP Masquerena. Preventer effect, summon back the banished Airlifter, sets a 5th card and passes. Duelist A draws. Uses Lubellion's effect, pitching itself, getting Magnamut. Activates Branded Regained. IP will chain using her effect to link summon. Max C in response to the IP. Max C resolves. IP using herself and Airlifter, making SP Little Knight. Branded Regain has resolved, but is then banished by Little Knight. Magnamut effect, target the opponent's IP, banish it to summon itself. Magnamut on summon activates. Aliber the Jester is summoned. Contain will activate, targeting Aliber. Aliber is negated. Magnamut is then tributed for the Lubellion in grave. Lubellion on summon will add a card, but Imperm, as the secret 5th card, says nuh-uh. Duelist A not done yet. Fusion deployment. Showing Granguinol to summon Blazing Cartesia. Cartesia effect will activate. SP will activate, targeting Lubellion and itself. So they're banished until the end step. Cartesia will then fuse herself with the Lubellion in hand. Make Granguinol the Dusk Dragon. Granguinol effect. Opponent activates Extinguish. Destroying Granguinol. Granguinol will send away Titaniclad. Moves right to the end step, not going to battle. That's odd. Cartesia effect will activate, but Rescue will chain, targeting Cartesia. Stealing her. Saronir is added thanks to Magnamut. And Titaniclad will summon Fallen of Albaz, which will pitch Saronir, fusing himself with Cartesia on the opponent's field, to make Albion the Branded. Albion the Branded effect, Bestial Saronir for being sent to grave, will send another Bestial, or Branded Opening. Albion will fuse Fallen of Albaz and Titaniclad into Mirror Jade. This is a long end step. Mirror Jade effect, banish Sprind to get rid of the Rescue Hydrant. Sprind was in the graveyard end step. Bring out Kit. Kit will add Branded in red. Return a card. SP Little Knight now brings itself and Lubellion back. Impressive. Duels B, banishing Extinguish to set Contain. Fire Ace HQ will target a bunch of Fire Ace cards. Return them to the deck. Draws 1. It's Poplar. Poplar will add Sinful Spoil. Link itself away for Ling Karibo. Poplar went to graveyard, moves itself to the back row. Activate Sinful Spoil, send away Poplar. Bring out Hydrant. Hydrant effect. With Extinguish chaining to Mirror Jade. Branded Opening, protecting Mirror Jade from destruction. Airlifter added off of Hydrant. Rescue Ace HQ, allowing the summon of Airlifter. Airlifter add Emergency. SP and Link Haribo make Promethean Princess. Promethean Princess, special summon back Turbulence. Turbulence effect, setting 4 Rescue Ace. Contain. Emergency. Alert. And Rescue. Then, Airlifter and Promethean Princess make Salamangreat Raging Phoenix. Moves to battle, Raging Phoenix swings over Albion. Turbulence destroys Mirror Jade. Its effect activates to resolve during the end step. End step happens. Blazing Cartesia effect, add herself back to hand. Wipes out the opponent's monsters. Albion then sets Branded Retribution. Turn change. Draws Fallen of Albaz. Good one to get. Lubellion effect will activate. Dual Speed chains Emergency. Branded Retribution will chain. Counter. returning Sprint and Albion to stop that. Lubellion will resolve. Setting Branded Lost. Summons Cartesia. Duelist B activates Rescue. Targeting their Preventer. Preventer is back. Blazing Cartesia. Fuse herself with Fallen of Albaz in hand. Remaking Albion the Branded. Albion effect. Fusing Mirror Jade with Fallen of Albaz from the grave to make Mirror Jade. Branded Lost effect. Mirror Jade will chain. Send away Sprint. Vanishing Preventer. Branded Lost gets a Mercurier. All monsters to attack mode. Swing Mirror Jade. Swing Lubellion. And Albion for game. Now that was an impressive back and forth. Oh god. Tearlaments. I thought you all were dead. Opponent activates Fright for Patchwork, adding Polymerization. And Edge Imp Chain. Use the effect of Amesti, send itself and Edge Imp Chain away to add King Sarcophagus. And gets another card. Edge Imp Chain went to graveyard, add Fright for Patchwork. Activate King Sarcophagus. Summon back their Amesti. Tribute it for Big Wing Berfomet, which will add Chimera Fusion. And Gazelle. Activate Polymerization. Fusing Gazelle in hand with Edge and Chain to make Chimera King. Gazelle went to graveyard. Its effect will activate. Chimera King will activate. That'll happen during the end step. Is able to add Cornfield Coatl. Use Coatl's effect, pitching itself. Adding Mirror Sword Knight. Sets 2 and rips the Amesti during the end step. That's lucky. Opponent draws a new one. Activate Super Poly, pitching Tearlaments Prime, fusing Chimera King and Birdwing Berfomet into Predaplant Dragostapelia. Gazelle went to graveyard for a fusion, summons back Cornfield Coatl, player summons Supreme Seamare. Chimera King will banish itself, target Big Wing. Big Wing is then summoned. Seamare, send away Tearlament Havness. New Chain, Havness for going to graveyard, Berfomet for being summoned, Dragostapelia, Chainlink 3, stopping Big Wing Berfomet. Attempting to Chimera Fusion activate, and called by Chainlink 5, targeting Havness. Impressive. Unfortunately, I'm still betting on Duelist A in this one. Unless fusing 3 monsters, 2 from field, 1 from field, 1 from hand. Into Guardian Chimera. Draws a card, gets a Chimera Fusion, and a Gazelle. Havness does not resolve. Guardian Chimera gets card, pops the opponent's field. Player uses Amesti, pitching itself and Tearlaments. Getting King Sark and another. Activate the Sarcophagus, pitching Triv Karma. Triv Karma, adding Primeval Planet. King Sarcophagus, sending away another of the Horus Guard, which is Dumatef. Dumatef and Amesti are then summoned. Activate Primeval Planet, getting Tearlament Kashtira. Using its effect, summoning itself, banishing Tearlament to Prime. It'll then send away 3. Activates Nibiru, clearing the board. Big token. Tearlament's Kashtira went to graveyard, mills more. Back to Duelist B. I was wrong. Duelist B is driving this duel. Activates Fright for Patchwork, getting Polymerization, and Edge Imp Chain. Summons Gazelle, uses Polymerization, fusing it with 2 cards in hand, Psy Gamma and Edge Imp Chain, making a second Guardian Chimera. Its on summon will activate. Gazelle will be linked 2. Gazelle adding Cornfield Coatl. Chimera drawing 2, popping the opponent's King Sark. Cornfield Coatl, pitch itself. Add Mirror Sword Knight. summons back their own Amesti using King Sarcophagus, pitching Mirror Sword Knight, send away Hoppy, send away Maxi, send away Dumatef, summon back Dumatef and Hoppy, move to battle, swings at the big token, King Sark will let them just send it away, Hoppy and Dumatef go direct, and Nibiru for the big rock finish. Shout out to Duelist B. And we do dare, in fact, go for the hat trick and hope for 3 entertaining back-and-forth matches. Will they pull it off? What in God's name am I looking at? I don't like this. Summons Ashoka Pillar, adding Angelica's Angelic Ring. The monsters then turn to defense mode. Activates Water Arabesque. Opponent with the Maxi. Maxi resolves. Hugh Lee is summoned, and Arabesque switches target. Hugh Lee adding Makanka Rivalry. Set 1, activate Angelica's Ring, putting it onto Hugh Lee. Opponent activates Pressure Planet Rate Soth. Angelica's Ring will negate it. Player activates Dragon Shrine, sending away Supreme King Dragoon. Darkworm. Darkworm will then summon itself back, and then for being summoned, we'll add a Supreme King Gate. But Makanko Rivalry will activate, putting Axe of Fools onto it, negating its effect. Player then summons Diviner of Herald, sending away Trias Hierarchia. Hierarchia will then tribute the Diviner, summon itself back from the grave. Diviner went to grave, add summon Dosulfur Cord. Cutia, which will add Gracia. Using Darkworm and Cutia linked together, make Heavy Metal Foes Electromite. Electromite effect, put Astrograph in the extra deck, pop the field spell, add Astrograph to hand. Astrograph technically saw a card get destroyed, so it'll summon itself. Then Heavy Metal Foes and Astrograph will link together, make Exceed the Pendulum. Exceed effect, add Dosulfur Cord Cutia back to hand, place Coolia and Cutia in the Pendulum zones. Then using its effect, you can special summon 1 Pendulum monster from hand or graveyard in defense with the level between the 2 scales that they have in the zone. So they summon the Gracia in hand. Gracia was summoned. We'll add Sulfur Cord Harmonia. Exceed and Gracia. Then link together. Make Beyond the Pendulum. Beyond, pay 1200. Add Dreamia. Then Pendulum summon. Astrograph returns. As does Coolia and Fenrir. Beyond the Pendulum's effect, because cards were summoned, they were able to destroy 2 cards, one being the opponent's Angelic Ring, and the other being their own Trias. Why'd they destroy their own Trias? Fenrir's effect will activate, adding Unicorn. Beyond the Pendulum and Gracia link together, doing a lot of linking. Make Grand Sulfur Cord Coolia. Activate Sulfur Cord Harmonia, using its effect, modulating the level of Dosulfur Cord Cutia. And Dreamia in hand will then, because they control a Sulfur Cord in the Pendulum Zone, they can special summon it from their hand. Harmonia effect, if they control Sulfur Cord Pendulum monsters. Which effect did you just use? Sulfur Cord Pendulum monster cards with at least 3 different names, with 3 different even pendulum scales, or at least 3 different odd pendulum scales. And what? Do you register the original? But you're still odd. This is all odd. If you control Sulfur Cord Pendulum monster cards with at least 3 different even pendulum scales, or at least 3 different odd pendulum scales, destroy 1 card your opponent controls. But their scales are 1. No, I'm reading it wrong. 1, 7, and 9. They are all odd. I read that wrong. So they pop their opponent's Water Arabesque. Makanko Rivalry will banish itself, target Water Arabesque, add it back to hand. Fenrir and Astrograph, then overlay. Make Odd Eyes Absolute Dragon. Absolute and Dreamia, then link together. Make IP Masquerena. Absolute went to Graveyard. Summon the Vortex. Castira Birth will then activate. Bring back Fenrir. Fenrir will swing. Banish Hugh Lee. Redirect to the face. Vortex goes face. IP goes face. And Grand Sulfur Cord for the big finish. How unorthodox. I like it. So, we did in fact get the hat trick. Look at us go. Anyway, that's going to be the end of this week's installment of my technical difficulties with OBS. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you have a good week. Watch the podcast, Career Bros. We talk about the Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime. It's cool. Bye.